Movie leaks can make or break releases, and Marvel not immune to that problem. With the popularity of Deadpool and Wolverine on everybody's minds lately, it feels kind of fitting to kick off today with the X-Men Origins Wolverine leak that was a huge scandal back in about 2009. So at the time, superhero fans were eagerly anticipating the upcoming release of the first spin-off in the massively popular X-Men series. Sadly, widely publicized script problems and studio interference plagued the production from the start, and as the dust started to settle, the unthinkable happened. More than a month before the stars dotted the red carpet at the official premiere, a DVD-quality work print leaked online, spreading like wildfire. Fox, the studio behind the X-Men series at the time, scrambled to contain the leak. Soon the FBI, the MPAA got involved, but the leak was unstoppable. Uh-oh, said Hillary Lewis of the Business Insider. A DVD-quality ripoff of Fox's first big summer film has been leaked online, just a month before its official release date. It's likely this early release will have a major impact on Wolverine's opening weekend box office. There hasn't been a piracy leak even approaching this magnitude in quite some time, said Josh Tyler of Cinema Blend, but I don't think it will have any real impact on box office receipts. Nothing tops watching a movie in a theater. Just because you have the MP3 doesn't mean you won't go to the concert. Remember folks, this was when Netflix was in the early days of their streaming services, before they were putting out original content, and when their video rental service was the big moneymaker. Rick Marshall from MTV was like, who knows how this leak will affect Wolverine's box office numbers? But it was important to keep in mind that the version online wasn't the final cut of the film, and there were significant differences in plot points between the bootleg and the theater-ready counterpart. So by the time the film was officially released, Fox estimated it was downloaded more than 4.5 million times. But who's to blame? Well, first, a special effects house in Australia that worked on several scenes got the slap on the wrist, but they denied any wrongdoing. Eventually, forensic evidence led the police to the house of Gilberto Sanchez, a New Yorker who was the first person to upload the stolen work print on file sharing sites under the pseudonym Skilly Gilly. He told authorities he bought an unlicensed copy from a Korean man. Who that man was, or where he got his hands on it, nobody knows. Luckily, Fox came out of the ordeal relatively unscathed. Despite really bad reviews, the movie still grossed more than $150 million on its opening day. Speaking in April of 2009 while promoting the film, Hugh Jackman, our beloved Wolverine, said the leak had left him heartbroken. He compared the working version to a Ferrari without a paint job. He said, "There's no point. It's very disappointing. Obviously people are seeing an unfinished film." Fox News website columnist Roger Friedman actually lost his job after posting an online review based solely on an illegally downloaded copy of the film. Well, technically Fox News said the company and Friedman mutually agreed to part ways immediately, because his behavior was reprehensible. Since launching the MCU, Marvel has become notorious for going to extreme lengths to keep spoilers at bay, sometimes withholding significant details from actors to keep them from blabbing. Tom Holland, we're looking at you. The spoiler concern doesn't affect just Marvel. Like HBO's Game of Thrones, once they actually filmed fake scenes to foil paparazzi, so like it's everywhere. Secrecy leads to intrigue, which makes the viewing experience more attractive and therefore more profitable. Well, once upon a time, Marvel fans were warned to stay away from social media after leaked footage of Endgame was found circulating online ahead of its premiere. Marvel kept that film shrouded in so much secrecy that even journalists and critics weren't permitted to see it ahead of its premiere. Screenshots, GIFs, short clips, and detailed posts about what occurred during this leaked clip spread like wildfire throughout Reddit and Twitter. It got to the point that the whole Marvel subreddit went on lockdown, while mods were attempting to keep the leaks out, much to the chagrin of folks who were like, I want the spoilers, give them to me. There was actually a public message reading, spoilers are bad. We strive to keep this community spoiler free, and due to recent events, we must take these measures to ensure that. Until we are more satisfied with our filter's ability to weed out the influx of new spoilers, all posts will be subject to approval. Shouldn't last long, and it didn't. But they said, like, if your post is removed and it's not a spoiler and not approved within a reasonable time, message one of the mods, we'll help you out. And then also, like, message them if they had any other questions. Marvel Studios also appeared to address the incident at the time with a very cryptic tweet featuring the hashtag "Don't spoil the endgame" and a very generic sounding letter from the film's directors, the Russo brothers, that was like, hey guys, please keep quiet. The lukewarm box office reception of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 certainly stalled Sony's plans on expanding the series, but one particular incident involving star Andrew Garfield also apparently contributed to the termination of the franchise. After the infamous Sony hack of 2014, it was revealed in an email that the actor was let go from the role after he failed to show up at an event where Sony chief Steve Kaz-Hirai was supposed to announce The Amazing Spider-Man 3 for a 2017 release. Garfield said that he no-showed because of an illness. But according to a report, the email read, "Here we are about 1 hour away from our gala event, and Andrew decides he doesn't want to attend. He has a rather scruffy beard and he just wants to be left alone." Okay. Garfield has always been candid about his second Spider-Man film's poor reception, and not shy about assigning blame. He told the Daily Beast in 2014, "I think what happened was, through the pre-production, production, and post-production, when you have something that works as a whole, and then you start removing portions of it, because there was even more of it than it was in the final cut, and everything was related, once you start removing things and saying, nope, that doesn't work, then the thread is broken, and it's hard to go with the flow of the story." Garfield's run in terms of solo Spidey movies ended with the second film, with Sony choosing to arrive at an arrangement with Marvel Studios to allow the character to appear in MCU films. Actor Tom Holland stepped in, and the rest is history. Now granted, Andrew Garfield has returned to being Spider-Man, this time in the MCU, so a little while back, and the rumor mill thinks that won't be the last time he gets to step back into the spandex suit. In 2009, rumors began to circulate that writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick were going to pen a script for a possible Deadpool movie. They did, and the character even appeared on screen that year in Wolverine. Sorta. But for years after that, not a lot happened with the supposed movie. Director Tim Miller was hired, we heard rumblings here and there, but it felt kinda dead. And it got to a point where Reese and Wernick were openly hinting to people that they should read the script, which had been leaked online. But then, almost out of the blue, the Deadpool movie got a green light and a February 2016 release date. What was the change? Was it a tamer rating, a lower budget? Maybe, but it was also a leak of some very promising test footage that got a lot of attention. If you don't remember, in the summer of 2014, a short clip of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool leaked online. It featured him popping around to some No Doubt music, killing a bunch of guys, and directly addressing the camera throughout. The footage ended with a shout out to Tom Rothmans, who was head of Fox when the footage was created. One of the creators of the character, Rob Liefeld, confirmed the footage was legit because Fox was scrambling to take it down. After all, this was a test made specifically for internal purposes, but something happened. Fans loved it. And at the time, Ryan Reynolds said in an interview, when asked about who he thought the leaker could be, "I would have, if I had known it would have caused that. Honestly, we all thought Tim Miller, the director, had leaked it, but I have since investigated that enough. In the quiet moments when he was beyond the point of being penalized by anybody, and he said that he really didn't do it." The initial leak came from Fox. They think somebody recorded the footage on their iPhone, then released it, and then once that happened, somebody hacked into Blur Studios, got the original footage in high res, and put it online. So a lot of folks found it pretty funny that Ryan Reynolds didn't know how the footage leaked, yet admits it was the footage that got the movie a green light. Look, it's pretty obvious. The footage leaked in August, and in September, the movie was a go. Well, flash forward to 2024, and in an interview arranged by Vanity Fair, Ryan Reynolds kind of confessed his involvement. So when he was hooked up to a polygraph machine, a lie detector, Hugh Jackman was like, "Hey, what about that original source of the leak?" Now Ryan attempted to dodge the question, but he eventually confessed that he provided an assist. He refused to elaborate about who he was assisting, but the polygraph expert confirmed that he was being truthful. On behalf of everybody who enjoys the Deadpool movies, thank you so much, Ryan Reynolds. Well, that's all for today, folks. I've been Alexa. See ya!